Invite up Darren Kessler for our invocation. Darren?
Thank you for this opportunity to pray, and let's remember those at this time of year who may also be challenged and emotionally lost, so let's pray for them as well. God, I thank you that we're able in a public meeting like this to pray, and we thank you for coming to earth, for caring about people. I do pray for those even at this time of year who've experienced loss, may be challenged in some way. And I pray for those present who are many are helping these people, for the commissioners as well with many initiatives to help people. And so we ask you for guidance. We thank you that you are a loving, caring God who loves people. And we pray, Lord, for those in special need during this time of year, how we could be attentive to them. I pray for all that is discussed today, that is said, that would be done in a way of wisdom, ultimately realizing we fall under your divine sovereignty in answer to you. Thank you again that these commissioners desire this prayer and the opportunity to offer it now in your name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for that. So with that, I'm going to call to order our Tuesday, December 9th, 2025 Board of County Commissioners business meeting. If you'll all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great, thank you for that. Attorney Garcia, do we have certification of the agenda today?
Yes, sir. The county attorney's office reviewed all items on the agenda. You have appropriate jurisdiction over these matters.
Okay, thank you, counsel. And do any commissioners have disclosures for items on this agenda?
No, sir.
Nope.
I have none. With that, we'll move on to item 2, which is our consent agenda, and I will accept a motion on consent unless there's discussion.
Please, the board, I do have a motion to approve all requests, the requests in all items A through W of the consent agenda.
Second.
So we have a first and second on the floor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries unanimously. With that, we're going to move on to item 3 on our agenda, which is our regular agenda. Item 3A is always very exciting for us. And again, we welcome everybody here that's here to participate. It's our 2025 Developmental Disabilities Mill Levy Grant Awards approval in the amount of $500,710. And we have Jennifer D'Ambrosio, Community Programs Coordinator, presenting for staff. Hi, Jennifer.
The request before you today is to approve the Developmental Disabilities Mill Levy grant recommendations for 2025 funding. In November 2001, the citizens of Douglas County approved a 1 mil property tax to be used for the benefit of citizens with developmental disabilities and their families. The county is the designated collection and disbursement agency for all property taxes within Douglas County, including the DD Mill. The county has historically distributed 93% of the mill levy funds to developmental pathways, and 1.5% is used for treasurer's fees. The remaining 5.5% is retained to distribute through the competitive grant process. Staff works with an advisory council to review the applications submitted by organizations serving people with IDD. Current members of the advisory council are Carol Compost, Jenny Skinner, Saeed Siddiqui, Aaron Chase, Diane Hitchingham, Ashley Eads, and Russ Hernandez. I would like to offer my sincere thanks and gratitude for all the time and hard work that these amazing advisory council members contributed to the review process. Would the advisory council members present today please stand and be recognized? For 43 applications were submitted by 28 organizations, and the requests totaled $1,635,735. The Advisory Council established criteria in line with the Commissioner's priorities and used a weighted evaluation tool to develop funding recommendations for the Board's consideration. This year, the budget for the competitive grant is $500,710. The Advisory Council recommends funding 28 applications based on scores earned during the evaluation process. The following slides show the individual organizations by category, a short program description, and the funding awards recommended. Lone Tree Arts Center and Tall Tales Ranch received recommendations for employment programs. Family Voices of Colorado and the Third Place received recommendations for sensory equipment and navigation services. An award recommendation for Tall Tales Ranch would help fund the installation of an elevator in their resource center. Awards to Wellspring and Skycliff Center are recommended to help fund transportation for participant community immersion and involvement. Awards for respite and adult day programming are recommended for South Suburban Parks and Recreation, Wellspring, and the Hive. Therapeutic programs recommended for funding are the Town of Parker, the Town of Castle Rock, the Maine Mission, Affinity Ranch, and Highlands Ranch Community Association. These organizations provide therapeutic services such as horse riding, therapy-intensive programming, recreation, and swimming lessons to help people with IDD develop coordination, build confidence, and improve socialization skills. For socialization and personal development, the following organizations receive recommendations: Adams Camp, Lone Tree Arts Center, Jewish Family Services, Easter Sills, High Point Services, Feel the Beat, The Third Place, Best Buddies International, and Broken Tree Community Center. These organizations will provide a wide variety of camping, educational opportunities, fitness programming, and opportunities for community immersion. The request before you today is to approve the Developmental Disabilities Mill Levy Grant recommendations for 2025 funding. I would like to end by thanking all of the staff members who have supported this grant application process. I would also like to reiterate my thanks to the Advisory Council for their wisdom and insight. And finally, I would like to thank all the organizations serving the IDD population who are receiving these funds today and turning them into acts of love and compassion. Thank you for your tireless work and enormous impact. This concludes my presentation, and I am available for any questions you may have.
Great. Thank you so much, Jennifer, and our thanks again to the DD Mill Levy Advisory Council. We greatly appreciate your effort in providing the recommendations that you provided. Are there any questions for staff?
No questions?
No.
Okay. At this time, we'll open it up for any citizen comment. Is there any citizen comment with regard to this item? Troy, do we have any citizen comment online?
Thank you, Commissioner. I have no online comment.
Okay, thank you, Troy. So with that, I'll close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for any further discussion and or a motion.
Well, Mr. Chair, having reviewed these in great detail, I think we all have over the past several weeks, it is my honor to move to approve 2025's Developmental Disabilities Mill Levy Grant Awards in the amount of $500,710.
Second.
So we have a first and second on the floor. Any further discussion? You know, in a moment, if we do approve this, we're going to distribute some checks to all of the amazing individuals that are here today. And I will tell you, in my 7th year as commissioner, it is such an honor to be able to work with each of you. Not only the individuals that have IDD, but the caretakers, the parents, the community members that have devoted their lives to serving this really critical and important population. It is just so meaningful to me, and I know meaningful to the county. So we just want to thank you for that, and thank you for being here with us today. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
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 Aye, and that passes unanimously. Give yourselves a big round of applause. So if it's okay with you, I think the commissioners are going to come down and hand out some money.
Let's do it. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Van Winkle, you want to kick us off?
Sure. The first one I have here is the third place.
All right, big round of applause.
Come on up. Shake your hand. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your service.
All right, Commissioner Teal.
Thank you, Chair. Next recipient is the Town of Castle Rock.
Congratulations. Next up is Wellspring. You want the money?
Yeah.
Hi, Nicole. Good to see you. Yeah, I know.
And then next, the Town of Parker for the wonderful services they provide.
South Suburban Parks and Recreation District.
Hi. Hey. Good.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Hi, how are you?
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
I'll even give you this. Absolutely.
Okay, I have Tall Tales Ranch. How are you? Good to see you. Yeah, thanks for being here. You too. Hi, thanks for being here. Hi, how are you?
And next, Jewish Family Services of Colorado.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate it so much. You too. Thanks for being here. You too.
And for proof that these are sorted in no specific order, the Lone Tree Arts Center.
Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Okay, I have the Main Mission. Congratulations and thank you. Thanks for all you do. You too.
Thank you. Okay. We have Adams Camp. Thank you.
Highlands Ranch Community Association.
You do so much.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you. I have High Point Services. Is High Point here? Thanks for being here. Thanks for all you do.
Family Voices of Colorado. May not be here. Okay. Sure.
Broken Tree Community Center.
I have Easter Seals.
Oh, here. Hi. Been patiently waiting.
Thank you so much. Appreciate all you do. Absolutely. Congratulations. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
Okay. Affinity Ranch.
Congratulations. Thanks for all you do. Thank you so much. Good to see you. Cool. Well, congratulations again to anyone. Would anybody else like to say anything here today? You guys came all this way. Anybody want to say anything? Well, give yourselves a big round of applause again. We're being asked to take a photo, so we might squeeze in here a little bit tighter, and we'll have the commissioners line up as well.
Okay, so that's probably good. Okay, that is good. We can back these chairs out so you can stand closer to the.
What happens is if you go up here, you have to run the rest of the meeting.
Yeah, please. As long as you're okay with us granting ourselves extra money. You might be talking about Christmas. Yeah.
See, where's the center? Is the center's of globus? Okay. We'll look at this way.
I know. You never know whether. Right?
No, it's okay.
He'll tell us.
Not be behind.
Oh, thank you.
Well, what a special day. It's always such an honor to be able to work so closely with the IDD community. With that, we're going to move on to item 3B, which is a purchase order request for the Douglas County Search and Rescue, matching funds for purchase of mobile command post in the amount of $175,000. We have Joel White presenting for staff. Anywhere you'd like.
Hi, good morning. Or
Good morning.
Good afternoon, sorry. Thank you. It's always an honor to present in front of you. Today, I brought along with me the president of the Search and Rescue, Douglas County Search and Rescue, Dave Miska, who will also talk for a few minutes. We're requesting the approval for the matching funds of $175,000 for a new command post purchase for the Douglas County Search and Rescue team. That command post would carry life-saving first aid equipment and have modern workstations for the staff. This vehicle is going to replace 701, which was put into service in 2001, 24 years ago, and is old, outdated, and really a confined operation that they work out of. As I believe all you know, our search and rescue team in Douglas County, which I believe is the finest team in the state of Colorado, responds out weekly, almost daily, to events that occur within our county. I'm proud to present that this weekend, Friday night, Dave and his team, along with one of the deputies that are in attendance here today, responded to our mountain to a life-saving event where a gentleman was experiencing some medical conditions and was stranded in some deep snow up on a mountain. It was a complex operation that included many different, the sheriff's office, West Metro Fire, South Metro Fire, but largely our search and rescue team. It was a significant operation that indeed saved this gentleman's life. He was after his evacuation, which took hours, he was life flighted to a hospital where he received care and is recovering. This team cannot continue to operate with old vehicles. The other $175,000 that was donated by a private citizen. So the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, myself, have requested the funds through the county commissioners. Dave, do you have anything?
Sure. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Commissioners. I just want to, again, on behalf of the 60 men and women, resident volunteers here in Douglas County that serve on your search and rescue team, for your support. As the Chief mentioned, this truck that we're currently trying to replace was donated to us in 2001. It's an F-350 box truck, very grossly underpowered and undersized. We're replacing the brakes on the truck about every 3,000 miles. We try to go in the mountains because it just can't handle the load and it's worn out. So yes, we were able, fortunately, to get a local ranch owner to come up with some matching funds for us. Our operating expenses average about $140,000 a year. We thankfully get a $48,000 a year donation from the Douglas County Sheriff's Office to help us with that. About a third of that goes right into covering our insurance. The rest of the funds we get either through donations from team members, people that we have saved. We get checks sometimes once a year from someone whose family member we've rescued or saved in the past, which is very kind. I also would mention it is Colorado Gives Day. We do get a little bit of funds from Colorado Gives, and the rest comes from grants that we're able to receive. We do, through Colorado Parks and Wildlife, get some assistance. The challenge for us is that doesn't leave us more than maybe $8,000 to $10,000 at the end of the year after we've paid all our bills for capital expenses, such as a $350,000 command post truck, or needless to even say, a building. So this is big for us. It's something we cannot afford, but it is something that we use on every single mission to plot where we're going to deploy teams and make efficient use of our resources. So from, again, the members of our team and the folks that we serve in the community, thank you so much for this matching grant.
Great. Well, thank you so much to both of you for being here. I'm going to open it up to the board for any questions.
No questions?
No.
Well, I don't have any questions, but for years we have always been so supportive of search and rescue, and anytime it comes to budget season, the goal is to try to get more dollars to search and rescue because, first of all, you all are a very humble group. On average, you're spending anywhere from $1,000 to $4,000 just outfitting yourself to do the work that you do on a volunteer basis. But you're recovering not only young people that have fled their homes or are missing, but also older adults that may have dementia or memory issues. And evidence, you're recovering things like bullets, guns. It's something that has been left behind at a crime scene. So the work that you do is just truly tremendous, and it's so rare that you ask us for anything. So it's a real honor to be able to have this come forward and have the discussion today. So thank you for that. With that, I'm going to open it up for any citizen comment. Is there any citizen comment in the room or online with regard to this item?
Commissioner, I have no online comment.
Okay, thank you, Troy. So with that, I'll close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for any further discussion or a motion.
Well, I hope, Chief, you and the every member of the search and rescue operation know that for those residents who, case in point, I have a neighbor who moved away years ago but volunteered for several years on search and rescue, and those are still memorable times in his life. And for many, many people here in Douglas County, I think knowing that Douglas County Search and Rescue is out there, ready to respond, ready to assist when needed, is a great solace. The fact that we do it with volunteers, that we do it on such modest capability, it makes me very happy to have this question before us with this purchase order to approve. And definitely, please give my personal commendations to the landowner who donated the matching funds as well. I think, hey, don't break it, okay? Do us a favor. But if it pleases the board, I do have a motion to approve a purchase order request for the Douglas County Search and Rescue, matching funds for purchase of mobile command post in the amount of $175,000.
I will probably second that motion with sincere thanks to that local citizen, George referenced, that is matching these funds, and to all the citizens who give back every single year to our search and rescue, and of course above and beyond to our honorable members of our search and rescue team. I can't imagine 2001 F-350 still in service today after such hard use, but I'm glad to see that this is happening today, and I second the motion.
Great. Thank you both for the first and the second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that gets approved unanimously. Congratulations. Thank you both.
Thank you all. We appreciate it.
Thank you
Yeah.
so very much.
Thank you. So with that, we're going to move on to item C in our regular agenda, which is an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Aurora and the Douglas County Board of County Commissioners of the County of Douglas, State of Colorado, concerning support of the Douglas County Biochar Facility. We have Holly Carroll, Special Projects Manager, presenting for staff. Hi, Holly.
Hi, good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm here to present an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Aurora and Douglas County to support the development and operation of the county's regional biochar processing facility. This agreement reflects a shared commitment to wildfire mitigation, watershed protection, and sustainable land management. Under the terms of the IGA, Aurora Water will contribute $100,000 towards the establishment of the Douglas County Biochar Facility. As you know, this facility will serve as a critical outlet for surplus woody biomass generated through forestry and fuels reduction projects, materials that are often costly and difficult to dispose of. The facility will convert this biomass into biochar, a carbon-rich product that can be used to improve soil health, filter pollutants, and reduce water consumption. By facilitating biomass disposal, we can accelerate vegetation management efforts that protect water quality and infrastructure from the devastating impacts of wildfire. At this time, I'd like to introduce Matt Ashley, Water Resource Specialist with Aurora Water, who will speak to the importance of this partnership and shared objectives that it will achieve.
Great. Thank you, Holly. Welcome, Matt.
Hi, Commissioners. I'm Matt Ashley with Aurora Water. I'd just like to say how excited we are to partner on this innovative and really exciting partnership. So, Aurora Water is committed to providing safe, dependable, and sustainable water, sewer, and stormwater services for Aurora residents. A key element to our mission is protecting our watersheds to ensure high-quality source water and protect critical water collection infrastructure. Wildfire is the #1 threat to Aurora's watershed health. Aurora Water's Watershed Health Program supports forestry and fuels reduction work to prevent wildfire risk, maintain water quality, and protect water infrastructure from the damaging effects of wildfire. We accomplish this work through partnerships with our forestry partners such as the U.S. Forest Service, Colorado State Forest Service, local fire districts, and nonprofits. A major challenge with forestry and fire mitigation projects in Colorado's Front Range is dealing with wood waste. Some of the woody biomass from forestry projects is able to be sold as timber or firewood, but much of it is not. Disposal of this biomass is often a limiting factor in the number of acres that can be treated. Biochar has emerged as a viable option to create a marketable product from this waste wood, thus decreasing the cost of forestry projects, reducing carbon emissions, and increasing the number of acres that can be treated. Douglas County's planned biochar production facility will expedite and increase fire mitigation projects through the creation of a local outlet for disposal of surplus woody biomass. This is an excellent opportunity for partnership for us because it is located near Aurora Water's Upper South Platte forestry partners. Actively supporting this biochar production infrastructure will help our forestry partners by decreasing costs and increasing the pace and scale of forestry and fuels treatment work to protect our watershed health. Thank you.
Well, thank you both for that. And I just have to take a moment and just express my appreciation and gratitude to Holly and the entire Wildfire Action Collaborative for the phenomenal, innovative work around having what will be the country's first county-owned and operated biochar facility. It's a very exciting project. And again, want to thank Aurora Water and Matt. Your excitement and your passion has been with us from the beginning, and we always like to have that collaborative spirit with our neighboring jurisdictions and municipalities. Your background and expertise is welcomed and greatly appreciated, so thank you for that. Let me open it up for any questions from the board.
No question.
Okay, so with that, I'll open it up for any citizen comment, either in the room or online with regard to this item.
Thank you, Commissioner. I have no online comment.
Okay, thank you, Troy. So with that, I'll close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for any further discussion or a motion.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. I think you said it, put it well, and it is just such an honor to work with our partners in Aurora on this tremendous project. And therefore, I move to approve an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Aurora and Douglas County Board of County Commissioners of the County of Douglas, State of Colorado, concerning support of the Douglas County Biochar Facility.
Second.
So we have a first and second on the floor. Any further discussion? I'll just add that being able to hear about and identify a golf course that has already injected these carbon products on a one-time application could reduce water consumption by up to 37%. And when we talk about water conservation and the ability of these carbon products to remove PFAS from water and maybe help with agriculture and fertilization and other forest management practices, it's incredibly exciting. And again, I think we're looking forward to many partnerships, including the City of Aurora. Any additional discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
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 Aye, and that passes unanimously. Thank you again. So with that, we're going to move on to our final item under our regular agenda. It's item 3D, which is an ordinance to support law enforcement and crime prevention in Douglas County, Colorado. We have Jeff Garcia, our county attorney, presenting for staff. Jeff?
Give a great presentation. Thank you, Commissioners. And today I'd like to discuss what was alluded to, or at least began to be discussed this afternoon when we had a press conference discussing crime prevention in Douglas County. The DA spoke, the sheriff spoke, and they talked about the great efforts they were making to make sure that our county remains safe. This is one tool that the county can provide them to better serve the citizens and keep everyone in the county safe. We're discussing a retail prevention, retail theft support for law enforcement, but this didn't come out of the air. We had members of the community reach out to the county, reach out to the sheriff, reach out to the Board of Commissioners and ask for help. We have all seen on the news the picture of an individual filling a cart full of tools or of electronics and walking out. And when I was given this as a task to look into, I thought, no, that doesn't happen in Douglas County. This is not something that we need to worry about. And I was mistaken. I was sorely mistaken. In fact, when speaking with the DA and with the sheriff, they said this does happen. And a portion of the reason it happens is because there's a misperception of Douglas County. It didn't start with the ordinance. It started with the outreach from the community and then a Douglas County Retail Theft Summit, where the Sheriff's Department, the 3rd Judicial District, my office, municipalities, businesses in Douglas County, the Douglas County Economic Development Collaborative, got together and talked about those things that prevented better retail theft prevention. And one of the most important things to come out of that is that retail theft is not alone. It is not a standalone crime, but instead it results in car theft, violent crime, drugs, guns, bad things being brought into our county as a part of retail theft. So it's just the tip of something that leads to more important, more serious crimes. The goal of this is to change public expectation. There may be leniency regarding retail theft outside of Douglas County, but we need to be very clear, inside Douglas County, we do not tolerate this. We do not tolerate the associated crimes. There are policies we are been made aware of that a retailer will simply absorb the loss, that being a victim of theft is part of doing business, that it is okay, they have insurance, they'll even inform their employees, don't do that, it's a company policy. Well, that doesn't comply with state law, and it's not going to comply with Douglas County law. And more importantly, we want to make sure that those outside of Douglas County know Douglas County is not a target. That was a big point of our press conference today, that if you come into Douglas County with the idea or goal of committing crime, you will be prosecuted. And while we have wonderful things in Douglas County, we are not a victim of or a target of crime. And the other goal is to support law enforcement. We, through community outreach, through speaking with businesses, through the summit, we found that law enforcement had great relationships with some businesses, but they needed support regarding evidence and testimony and some of those other things that made convictions and prosecution a little easier, and to make sure that there was a clear collaboration, that we are here to support our retailers and that we want everyone who does business in Douglas County to succeed. Our goal in this is to not penalize employees or victims. Commissioner Van Winkle was asked a question today about the punishment of victims. This is not about punishing victims. This is about ensuring that the community we live in complies with Colorado laws, which includes a mandatory criminal reporting requirement. It does not release or reduce the legal requirements of any individual in the county. So since 1979, Colorado has had a mandatory crime reporting requirement. That is CRS 188115. It states it is the duty of every corporation or person has a responsibility or who has reasonable grounds to believe a crime has been committed to report promptly the suspected crime to law enforcement. This is not a new idea. This is an idea that's existed since the 70s and one which we insist our businesses comply with. We are not alone in this. Texas and Ohio have similar laws. Our law will match that, simply stating that you must promptly, within 96 hours, report a crime if you know of a crime. There are exceptions to the law. There's constitutional exceptions, which are noted. The sheriff will enforce. There was a question about how the sheriff might enforce, and I don't ever want to speak for the sheriff, but I will say that when this evidence comes up, it will not be a standalone. It will be part of an investigation or a pattern of behavior that demonstrates a business is not compliant with that state law. And going back to that state law, the state made this law in 1979, but they didn't discuss the interaction between law enforcement and this law or businesses in 1979. We are not trying to reinvent the wheel. Instead, we are closing the loop that was created by the state in 1979. There are some limitations on the DA, which regarding prosecution of civil matters. So my office will prosecute this as a civil infraction. And there is great discretion. So if a business does not understand this law or is simply new to it, it could be something as simple as a warning. Whereas there might be a business that has adopted a policy that promotes crime in the county, they may seek a stiffer or harder penalty against those individuals. This is the first reading, as I frequently talk about. We are welcome to comments. We want to make sure that this law works for everyone. We want it to work for businesses. We want it to work for consumers. We want people to feel safe doing business in Douglas County, shopping in Douglas County, and enjoying Douglas County. If there are questions or comments, they should reach out to the county. They can reach out to me, and we can make sure that on the second reading, if there are edits made, we'll address those and make sure that this law is doing everything it can to prevent crime in Douglas County. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Council. Any questions for Jeff Garcia, our county attorney?
No question.
No.
Okay, I don't have any questions right now. With that, we'll open it up for any citizen comment. Is there any citizen comment in the room or online with regard to this item?
Commissioner, I have no online comment.
Troy, thank you, and welcome.
My name is Julie Ort. I live in Highlands Ranch, and just listening to this ordinance, I do have some questions and concerns about it. Specifically, the ordinance through the Sheriff's Department and the DA was talking about mandatory or required jail time for anybody who's found to be caught shoplifting. So, you know, he's equating people who may be stealing food to put on their table, or a kid who's shoplifting because they're a kid and they've made a mistake, and equivalating that with a crime syndicate. So I think there's a big difference in those two groups of crimes, and I think we need to look at that. I think that's really important. I also am a little concerned about the discretion. So again, we're talking about corporate entities. Are we talking about grocery stores where they may be seeing these kind of things happening? So I just have questions about it. I think that this one-size-fits-all is really dangerous for criminalizing people who are just trying to get by in hard economic times. Again, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be, you know, written up for this and have a crime for, it's a crime to shoplift, but to be putting people in jail overnight, which is what I heard the DA say, I question that. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate your comments. Any additional citizen comment? Welcome. Again, if you just want to state your name and where you're from for the record.
Hi, my name is Kim Carroll, and I live in Parker, the 80134 zip code. I just, off the top of my head, have a couple of concerns. One is how this is going to affect small businesses. Are we relying on the teens who work in the small businesses to tell their owners, and then the owners have the 96 hours? So I'm wondering if there shouldn't be some sort of an opt-out for our smaller businesses, especially those on like Main Street Parker, or, you know, that's where I live, so those are the businesses I know of. My second concern is, are we relying on disgruntled employees to say, I work at Target and they fired me and I'm going to tell you what's going down? They are not reporting thefts under $100. And isn't that a corporate decision? All businesses have a cost-benefit analysis as part of their business, and should our county really be getting involved in that? So those are just my two concerns as I look at the ordinance today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any additional citizen comment? Okay, with that, I'm going to close citizen comment, bring it back to the board for any further discussion and or a motion.
Colleagues, I think it's appropriate to remind ourselves that the origin of this ordinance came to us about a year ago when we were approached by two residents of the county, one a Lone Tree resident who's a retired attorney, and the other one a long time multi-sheriff term member of the Sheriff's Citizen Advisory Committee who lives in Highlands Ranch. And they're the ones who brought that very first draft ordinance before us. Kevin, I don't think yours had your name on it yet because it was so new of you getting sworn in as a commissioner. But Abe, you and I, we had one that had our names on it. Matter of fact, I think you were still shaking hands, buddy. So I think I carried yours to our county attorney. And it's where these two residents had observed, you know, I guess the phrase shoplifting should be used. And confronted the store management. And the store management said, I'm sorry, corporate policy does not allow us to report. And, you know, we heard them out. We did take that draft proposed ordinance and give it to the county attorney. And I will be honest, folks, when we heard it that first time, my first reaction was, you know, really? You know, I mean, does this really happen? And yet at the same token, just like any other request by any other resident, you know, we took it serious. And we did hand it off to the county attorney and asked him, hey, what can we make of this? And initially, Counselor, not to put too many words in your mouth, but you were reluctant. You had reservations. You had a question if we had authority to look into it, and then you did. And obviously, you've given us your presentation today and several times during the formulation of this ordinance where you made it clear that, yes, there is, under Colorado law, there is precedent. And so I know we had a press conference earlier. We have a member of the press here. I think what is important for everyone to know is that this wasn't just hatched out of the great idea factory that happens in this building. This came from two residents of Douglas County who saw a vulnerability and did indeed, in the form of the draft ordinance they gave us, see a solution. And I definitely appreciate the work of the county attorney's office in order to make sure that we could get the work done to bring this ordinance before us. So if it pleases the board, I do have a motion to approve an ordinance to support law enforcement and crime prevention in Douglas County, Colorado.
I do appreciate that, and to the idea that, you know, our sheriff's department or district attorney would treat a 9-year-old, you know, stealing a stick of gum the same as an organized crime syndicate that may be even multi-state, but certainly from far outside Douglas County. That's our sheriff deserves more credit than that. Our district attorney deserves more credit than that. They treat those two circumstances extremely differently. And to the question of should our county be involved in crime prevention? Absolutely. I don't think that's in doubt whatsoever. Our county should absolutely be involved in crime prevention against our citizens that we look out for every day. Our citizens want safe targets to shop, and they don't want soft targets open to dangerous theft. And therefore, I appreciate the motion, and I second the motion.
Great. Well, thank you both, and I agree with you both entirely. You know, for me, I bifurcate between two camps. I think in many jurisdictions throughout the country, certainly major metropolitan areas like San Francisco, Seattle, Portland, there is a view about having sympathy towards the criminals versus having sympathy towards the citizens. And if pressed, I'm going to choose sympathy towards our hardworking families and tax-paying citizens, who, by the way, have to pay more when others break the law and decide to commit retail theft. As we shared earlier today, we are ending the look the other way era. We're not going to allow a culture where people walk out of a store with a stack of drills and nobody says a word. And it's interesting because some of the video that we saw, the footage we saw, were individuals with an entire cart of thousands of dollars of equipment, drills, just walking out of a Home Depot with zero consequence. And unfortunately, it's become part of the cultural zeitgeist that even comedians kind of laugh and joke about it. Hey, did you know you can go into a big box store and steal and not get caught? That is a dangerous precedent to set, and it will not be one that we set in our community in Douglas County. Again, I really applaud this board and the sheriff as well as our DA for taking a strong public safety stance that does protect our citizens, protects our property values, and protects our community. Again, our message is simple. If you steal in Douglas County, you will be held accountable. And if you operate a business here, we are thankful for you being part of the solution. I'll just add that this board did take the time to engage with our business community, did do the stakeholding. We received not only gratitude and thanks from the business community, but zero opposition. But it is first reading, so we'll continue to ask for additional input from citizens and businesses about this particular ordinance. And again, thank you to council for the great work on this. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that carries. So with that, we're going to move on to our next item. We are going to forego, we're about 5 minutes past for public hearing. If you do have additional citizen comment, please do email us at bocc.co.us. I will ask for any commissioner comments. Anything from do we have any other business before us today? Our county manager report is inside of the packet. Please do read that. It is very comprehensive about everything we do. Anything from the county manager? Okay. So with that, the next business meeting will be held on Tuesday, December 16th, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. We are adjourned. Give us about 5 minutes to reset for our public hearing. Thank you.